This video is for the Lodge & Bali M50 Dolcevita light, and we're specifically talking about the T-wand or hot water tap. Okay, so as this diagram shows, water comes in and goes through a pump, is pressurized up to about 9 bar, and it hits this water flow valve, which allows the cold city pressure water that's been pressurized by the pump to go through, and it goes through a small filter here and then goes into the economizer. That's this MA over here. Now the economizer shoots cold water into the boiler, which gets heated by this heater element and then boils, and of course there's a pressure switch that controls the boil rate and what pressure it goes up to. Okay, but once the water is hot, cold water comes in here, and it also mixes. This device also allows a mix of cold water from here and hot water from the tank going in here. And what happens is when this water valve is open, so it's the pump pressure coming up into the tank, water goes in here, but also this tube also sucks hot water from the boiler. So there's a mixing action in here, which is adjusted by the MA or the economizer, and the mixed water will come up here and go out to the hot water tap. So it shows this long nozzle, but in actuality, in most cases, it's a small spout, okay, which may or may not be on a hinge as shown here. It may just be a pipe coming out here and just straight down to a spout. So these two valves, the EAC and the EVC, the cold water inlet and the hot water outlet valve, has to both be activated. So there's a good chance that in some systems this may be paralleled off. If this valve is activated, that valve is activated. But there has to be some kind of cutoff device to prevent this valve from opening if this valve is open. So there's a separate circuit that operates just the cold water inlet. So this allows, when the service boiler is low on water, this valve opens up and then feeds water in. Okay, so there's a separate circuit that controls this. So what happens with the water here, okay, I'll show you in more detail. Okay, this is what it actually looks like. So here's the water inlet valve. As you can see, it comes in. Here's a pump. Cold water comes in, gets pressurized, goes through a one-way valve, check valve right here, and then goes through a pressure regulator, which is adjusted to maximum 9 bar. Then it comes down, and the output of the water, pressurized water, goes into this filter, filter screen, and then cold water inlet valve, another filter, and up into the economizer. So the economizer is buried in the tank with hot water, and then it mixes hot water with cold water, and it comes out of here and it goes straight to the T1 valve. Okay, now from the T1 valve, it says go to B62-4. B62-4, B62-4, and as you can see, it just goes straight to the valve, and then from the output of the valve, it goes to various connections depending on the machine. This is like in a bistro, okay, where they remotely, this is a hose that they mount the spout on one of the frames of the bistro. This is a more direct connect that attaches straight to the spout. There's a faceplate that goes on the M50, and depending on the model, the faceplate might be a little different depending on where they have the spout, because sometimes they move the spout around here and there. Typically it's on the right side of the machine, but it may be moved to the left side of the machine. So depending on where it's moved to will depend on what kind of pipe you have. So this is a direct connection. And then you have a longer one which goes to, and again, if they're moving the spout to another location. This particular one has an aerator attachment, and so depending on what your needs are for tea, there's different schools of thought whether you want straight boiling water or you want a mix of tepid water or you want aerated water. It just depends on what the customer wants. So they can offer 3 different types of hot water, not just boiling hot water or tepid hot water or aerated hot water. So it just depends on the customer. Okay.